This is my Traxxas Nitro Rustler, and I have owned it now for 1 month. This is my first ever Nitro RC car. In today's video, I will be talking about the good and the bad of this RC car after owning it for 1 month. Starting off with something that is neither good or bad, and that is the fact that this is my first ever Nitro RC car. I think that should be noted. I think this is a great first Nitro for a lot of people, and you have to just keep in mind, this is a Nitro RC car, not an electric, so there are gonna be differences. All right, let's get to talking about the bad. The first bad thing that I noticed almost immediately when I got this car is that specifically the front suspension has lost so much oil. I have shock oil that I could put in this, but I cannot get these shock caps off for whatever reason. But they have lost a lot of the oil, so they're just not very stiff. I think part of that may be that I bought this from a hobby shop, and this was actually initially a display model. So this was sitting out on a shelf for a while, and I guess the oil had leaked out of the shocks. That's not necessarily something against this specific RC car. That is a problem with every Traxxas vehicle that has these specific shocks. I've heard you can get metal shock caps that can help prevent it, or you can just get entirely upgraded shocks, which I may do in the future. Another bad thing involving the shocks is that these front shocks, I bent pretty quickly. I think I have an idea why. I ran this on a gravel parking lot, and half the parking lot is made of a lot finer gravel, which this car did fine in, and then I drove it on a part of the parking lot with really big, barely gravel, more like big rocks, and that bent both of these front shocks. And thankfully I have an old Traxxas Bandit that has a lot of issues, and I just decided to steal the shocks because they are the exact same. Moving away from the shocks, I'm gonna bundle this one into two really quick little, not so bad, but a little annoying things. First off, this has Phillips head screws and not hex screws, which is really annoying. They're just annoying to screw out, but it's not that big of a deal in the end. The other minor issue I had, you may already be able to see if you're familiar with the 2.5 engine, I lost the head protector. It is not screwed on at all. On the 3.3 engine, it is screwed on, but on the 2.5, it is not, and it just fell right off like during the break-in. I think it was on like the third tank of fuel, I had it fall off. Does protect this glow plug wire. I think that's what it does the most, so if you flip upside down, but I'm not hardcore bashing this, so I'm not too worried about losing that. A big issue I had, and probably the first issue I ever had with this car, was the batteries. Stock, it comes with a AA battery holder, just 4 AA batteries. Now, I know you're supposed to change them a lot. I was getting runaways consistently after 2 tanks of fuel, which from what I've heard is not supposed to be happening. I don't know what was going on there. These were the batteries I was using. I bought them from my hobby shop. They may have just been terrible batteries, but either way, I decided to buy a hump pack from Traxxas. And remember, you have to buy this wiring harness. Quick complaint, the wiring harness is not long enough to put it where the normal on-off switch would have gone. So I just hot glued it here. It's a little annoying. I wish it was the correct length. And honestly, I don't think you should have to buy it in the first place, but it's whatever. It's not the end of the world. One of the most infuriating issues I had with this car had nothing to do with the car at all, and instead had to do with this TQI transmitter. I bought the Traxxas Link module that goes in here normally because I wanted to get telemetry with this. Now what happened was I installed it exactly as they said. First thing that happened is, I'll show you, this is the transmitter for my Traxxas Bandit VXL. There's this tiny little screw that stripped out immediately. And so that's problem number 1. Problem number 2, I put the module in exactly as directed, and it bends every single pin in like opposite directions too. It was extremely annoying. So I ended up sending it back because I got it through Amazon. I sent it back, I got my money back, but I can't ever get it in there again because it bent all the pins in this and on the one I got. Final issue I've had with this car are these rear tires. These Traxxas Alias tires just do not do good on asphalt. They are basically completely bald. I don't want to get Anaconda tires because I don't want this to be a purely on-road car. And I like the look of these tires, or these wheels in general, but I don't want to buy something that's going to do this again. I have heard that the old Jado Victory tires, which look almost identical and have basically the same function, are better replacements because they don't wear out as quickly. So I ordered a pair of those off eBay, and we're going to see if they last super long. If they end up being the same, I'll go ahead and get myself a pair of Anaconda tires and wheels. All right, so now let's move on to the good. Starting off with something not on the car at all, we're gonna talk about the easy start. This is so helpful for beginners in nitros. All you do is charge up this battery, put it in this little wand, stick it on here, and it will, inside the car, use this motor to spin the engine and this wire to light the glow plug, and it makes it so easy to start. This thing starts on first try most of the time. Sometimes it'll like need to get heated up a bit, and that's pretty normal from what I've heard, but the easy start makes it easy to start. Another thing I absolutely love about this car is the speed. It is a very simple nitro car. All it's got is its engine, carburetor, few servos. It's rear wheel drive. It's got no complicated multi-speed transmission, but this thing goes 50 plus miles an hour. Now, it's probably not tuned the best. I'm not professional at tuning or anything, but even without it probably not actually hitting 50 miles an hour, because I probably haven't tuned it up correctly, the smell, the sound, it just makes this car feel so much faster than it really is. And that's not a bad thing. I love that. And on top of that speed, it's really controllable. I was actually very surprised at how controllable this car is. And I know people may worry with nitro having no reverse. With this car, it really makes you forget that you ever needed reverse, at least for me. Another thing I love is how simple it is. I mentioned this earlier, but all this is engine. There's no like complex transmission. Yeah, it's nitro, scary, but like, come on. It is not that hard to work on, and I just love this. If you maintain your Nitro RC car, it will probably be fine, especially if it's a car like this. Final thing I'm gonna say that I really like about this is going to be probably like an insanely hot take, because people really do not like the Traxxas servos. I don't know what it is, but this servo down here, this 2055 servo, it doesn't have an insane amount of torque, but it is a fast servo. I haven't had it die on me. I've heard a lot of bad things about Traxxas electronics, but it works very well, and I have not had any issues with it yet. In fact, not to start a Traxxas versus Arrma debate, but the Spectrum servo on my Arrma Granite just recently died on me, and that car, it's older, but it's been maintained really well, and I'm just saying, never had a Traxxas servo die, but I did have an Arrma servo die, so take that how you want. In the end, this car is just great. I have had so much fun with it. It's not the best RC car I have, but it's my most fun RC car. That's not going to be the same for everyone, but I really enjoy this. A lot of the things that I said were negatives were mostly nitpicks, to be honest. Overall, if you want to get into nitro, I think this is the best car you can possibly buy. Like the video and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you enjoyed.